Hello, I'm going to be taking you through some really great things on Google Docs that you can do to make your editing and translating a bit easier. So first, in File, you can always download your Google Docs as a Microsoft and use those tools there, or as a PDF if you want to share it with someone and you don't want them to be able to make changes. You can also make it available, offline if you want to work offline if you know that you won't be having internet access, and things like that. So you can do that in File, which is really nice. You can also set the language of the document here, which will change the spelling, recommendations that it gives you. Next, we'll go into Insert. In the Insert area, you can insert footnotes here, so that's really nice. So at the top, if I wanted to insert a footnote or explain the title or something like that, I can go Insert Footnote. It will put the little one for the footnote, and it will come down here for the footnote. So we can do footnotes there if we want to. Also from Insert, you can insert special characters. So for example here, you can do special characters. The really cool thing about special characters for Google is that you can just draw it with your mouse and then you can insert it from there. So that's really, really nice. You don't have to go digging around for what symbols you need to insert. You can actually just draw them. You can also add headers and footers and page numbers if you need to. And you can also view a table of contents. Now the table of contents will be automatically created if you've formatted your document in an accessible way, meaning that you've labeled this as the correct header, right? So here you would highlight it and you would click on the header. So you could update heading to match, so this will keep your format that you already have, or it will apply its own traditional heading 1 format. So if I just wanted to keep it, I could do that. This is the actual title, so we're just going to keep the title there for that. Of course, I do want this still italicized, or just the title of the of the short story. Come on there. There we go. So that's from the Insert tab. In Format, you can align text, put paragraphs, things like that. Again, you can do page numbers and orientation and all that great stuff. The next area that's really useful is this Tools. So you'll notice here you can do spelling and grammar. So if you click on it, it will show you different things and you can kind of go through them one at a time. You can accept or ignore. You can see your own personal dictionary and things like that. So the spell check has been integrated now into this, so that's nice. You can also view word count, which will show you characters and pages and things that as well. You can also display the word count while you're typing, which if you're trying to hit a certain word count or not go over a certain word count, that could be useful. The other things that you can do in Tools is you can use the dictionary. So for example, I don't know, if we wanted to look up a synonym for hello, we could click on dictionary. It will tell you the definition and then it will give you some alternatives sometimes, not all the time. It doesn't have a thesaurus function so far. The other issue with Google Docs is it currently doesn't have an accessibility. Those things an accessibility checker. Those things are add-ons and you can definitely add whatever things you'd like, but you'd have to actually create or insert an add-on. Something else that is really nice about Google Docs, you can't really do track changes, but you can go up here to click on suggestions. So on the right hand side, there's this little blue area that says editing or suggestions or view. So here you can click suggestions, and then this way anything that you change, for example, if I delete this, it's going to put it as a recommendation. So it was kind of highlighted and it'll say delete here, and it'll put my name at the top, and then whoever views it can click yes, accept the suggestion, or no, reject the suggestion. So this is nice if you're working with a group of people. So you can make suggestions instead of edits. Edits will just automatically apply. So if you're working with a group or something, this is actually really, really nice function. The other thing that's great if you're working with a team is you can share. So the share function here, you can either add people individually, that way the document is secure and only the people's emails that you've put here can access it. You could also have other share functions down here. You could do restricted or anyone with the link. Maybe if somebody isn't, maybe they don't have their own Google account or something, maybe you could do that there. But I would highly recommend limiting yours to restricted and only putting the people that you want to share it with, especially if you're working on sensitive documents and things like that. And definitely keep it within your organization or your company or whoever you're working with. And so that could be really important. Also, I would recommend not sharing it with your client until it is finished, and I would highly recommend sharing what's called a dead document with your client, so a PDF or a downloaded Microsoft. That way they aren't just making random changes to this document and you're losing it. Now, if you do have somebody that ends up accessing this document that they're not supposed to, and you want to see what they changed, something else that's really cool about Google Docs is you can see the version history. So here at the top, after all of our little tabs, you can see last edit was made 2 minutes ago. If I click on that, it will give me a history, and it will show me, that obviously I created the first original document, and then it will show me the changes I made recently on this last document. I can click the 3 dots and I can name that version. I can make a copy. I can also, oh my goodness. I can also restore it. So I can click on it and I can click current version, or I can click here and I can restore this version. So I could restore it, and so I could say, I don't want any of those changes. I'm going to restore it back to the original document. So when I come back, it will say restored, and you'll notice that none of those suggestions, none of those footnotes, none of the changes I made to this, were kept. So again, I can see that, and here I can see it's here, and then I can see restored version from October 8th. At 1:50 p.m. or whatever, when I imported this document. So that's something that's kind of nice. Another thing, especially if you're collaborating with people, you can just leave comments. So you could say here, you could highlight a part, and then this is your rich text editor bar up here. There's this little tiny one that says add a comment, and you could type whatever you wanted here, and then you could click comment. And then again, whoever you're working with can mark it as resolved, or they can also, reply to it by clicking on it, and they can reply, and so on and so forth. So that's really nice for working with others. You can upload images, you can insert checklists, you can make bullet points, whatever you need to do, you can also do here. You can set the heading type so that it's, accessible, so on and so forth. If you do have headings set, on the left-hand side, there's a show document outline. So here you can see all of the different things that are set as headers in the document. So you can kind of use that as well. So this is something that you can use to collaborate. If you're working at the same time with someone, you can also use, it'll show that somebody else is accessing the document, and it'll have a little bubble, and you can click on it and it will create a little chat for you. So you can chat with the person while you're all working in separate places. So again, this was imported as a Microsoft Word format, but I can save it as a Google Doc, or I can use it. So you can import Word documents if you want to as well, change whatever you need to and whatnot. So if I resolve that, it'll kind of go away, and then I can see the comment history here. I can see that comment and things like that. So again, there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with Google. There are some things and benefits to using Word as a translator or an editor in general. You can compare documents in Word, which you can't yet do without an add-on for Google Docs, and other things like that. So there are some small things that are beneficial. There's also in Word, you've got a thesaurus, you've got translation, you've got track changes, you have compare. So there are things. Word is much more robust, which is why it's still the preferred processor for translators and editors. However, if you're working in a team, Google Docs can be an excellent choice for you. So hopefully you've learned something new, and there are some, things you can do here. One final note, I will say, if you are going to add add-ons, it will pop up as a little add-on there, and you'll be able to see I've added an accessibility checker, but here you can click Get Add-ons, and you can see all the add-ons there that are either free or that work with Docs. So if you were looking for a thesaurus, you could see if there is one. I don't know. It looks like there is. So you can read reviews of which one's better or not. You can add that add-on there. But again, you'd have to manually add those add-ons to be able to do that. So anyway, that is Google Docs in a nutshell. At least some things that I find useful when working in a team for editing or translation.